Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. So I'm sure you've seen it before, and you probably saw the title. We've got major breaking news. Current Democrat President of the United States, President Joseph Robinette Biden, just now through a press release, announces that he will not be seeking re-election. And this comes after seeking re-election for the last, 6 to 8 months? Probably even longer. It feels like we've been in this election cycle for a while. Really, the last 4 years has felt like an election. The thought process has always been that it's going to be a Joe Biden-Donald Trump rematch, but apparently no more. Now, of course, I gotta take the L on this one. I know it's going to be in the comments section, but Liberal Hive Mind, you predicted that Biden was going to stay. Well, what am I supposed to apologize for? Not having a crystal ball? My apologies that I can't predict the future. A lot of people are going to say that it's been obvious from the start. This has been the plan from the start, and while there's been some circumstantial evidence to suggest that, I personally don't think that that's the case. I think that this was a last-minute, desperate decision. I think people have been lobbying Joe Biden to drop out of the race for a very long time, and he's refused, and finally I guess things have gotten so bad, the writing's so clearly on the wall, that Joe Biden's left with no other choice. The Democrat Party feels as though this is their only option, and to be completely fair, there's probably some merit to that. But the idea that this is part of some, sinister plan that they have totally mapped out, I don't think so. I think this is pure desperation. I think what we're seeing is the official collapse of the Biden campaign, and frankly, the Democrat campaign. Currently, I'm holding the same stance. I just cannot see the political calculus here. I cannot see the strategy. And this is why I've been so skeptical throughout this entire time. Joe Biden's gonna drop out of the race, 3.5 months ahead of Election Day? And even less if you consider early voting. I don't see how this works, but let's entertain it. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's see what the Democrat options here are, and let's talk about why this is happening. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so we got the official press release. I'm frankly shocked that I'm reading this, but apparently Joe Biden has finally put his ego to the side. For the first time in his entire freaking life, Joe Biden decided to do what was right for somebody else or for his political party instead of doing what's right for Joe Biden. And that right there might be the most shocking piece of news. But anyways, here's the letter. Joseph R. Biden Jr. on July 21st, 2024. My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress in the nation. Okay, this guy's an idiot. Sure, we've made great progress. All right, Joe, now this is why I don't feel bad for you. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. Oh, okay, so I guess he's gonna keep making these claims. All right, interesting. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and in expanding affordable healthcare for a record number of Americans. We've provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety laws in 30 years, appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. Holy moly. The entire globe is laughing at us, but okay. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. Okay, it has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. While it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe that it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me re-elected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all of this work, and let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust that you have placed in me. I believe today what I always have, that there is nothing America can't do when we do it together. We just have to remember that we are the United States of America. Joe Biden. One second, really quick, let me fix that last sentence there. He says that there's nothing America can't do when we do it together, but what he probably meant to say was that there's nothing that we can't do when we do it together, and by together he probably means everybody except those ultra-MAGA extremists that Joe Biden clearly stated were the, quote, enemy of the homeland. The greatest threat to the homeland, Joe Biden said. But anyways, so there you have it. Joe Biden's staffers write this letter. They spent, roughly 60% of the time rewriting history, gaslighting us into oblivion about all of Joe Biden's record success. Yeah, if Joe Biden had all this record success, he wouldn't be down in the polls like he is. But anyways, they write the letter, Joe Biden steps down, and to be quite honest, it's a little bit shocking, but also not so shocking, because obviously they had to make a decision here. I didn't think they were going to go with this decision, especially considering how long they delayed the process. But here we are, exactly 1 month away from the DNC convention. Joe Biden steps down, or rather, Joe Biden has been forced to step down. They're kicking him out the door. They drafted this letter. They're going to draft his speech.
According to multiple Democratic sources, this is happening all of a sudden. Everyone said it would happen gradually and then all at once, and that's what's happening. According to my sources, President Biden has agreed to step down as the Democratic nominee.
Oh, man.
It will happen as early as this weekend. A speech has been drafted for him.
And just like that, Joe Biden is gone. Now, of course, the question is, well, what's the strategy? What's plan B? Well, apparently the initial report from last week is incorrect. Supposedly, Joe Biden was going to step down and refuse to endorse Kamala Harris, but as we're now learning, Joe Biden has endorsed Kamala Harris as the Democrat candidate for president. I guess it really was foreshadowing now, wasn't it?
Well, President Harris led this effort.
But all kidding aside, of course, President Harris.
I'm sticking to my guns on this one. I don't think this was planned. I think rather what's happening is they see the writing on the wall. The last couple of days, the polls keep dropping. And speaking of dropping, Joe Biden is dropping precipitously in the polls. I'm showing some of the averages and results on screen right now. It just keeps getting worse for old creepy Joe. The simple fact of the matter is I think Democrats had to accept that if top battleground state races are looking like this, well then you really have no other choice. You need a last-ditch, desperate Hail Mary play. What's probably happening is that they're getting internal numbers right now that are totally devastating. Trump mentioned this at his rally last night.
70,000 in New Jersey. We're leading New Jersey by 4 points, by the way. We're leading Michigan by 6 points. Right. And a report just came out. Actually, we're leading everywhere and nationally, and that we have to keep it that way.
Supposedly, according to internal polling from the Trump campaign, Trump is possibly leading in New Jersey of all places. What do you think that means for Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, basically across the board? The numbers continue to get even more devastating for the Democrat Party. They're on the verge of losing historically Democrat states. Obviously, they're left with no option, and they've been lobbying Joe, and Joe's been saying, listen, Jack, look at the polls, I'm up 5 points. Well, I guess he finally got the memo, or maybe they finally leveraged their Epstein tapes on him, and poof, just like that, Joe Biden's gone at the last second. I think it's last-minute desperation. I don't see how this benefits them, and I don't see how endorsing Kamala Harris fixes any of their problems. The fact of the matter is, Donald Trump has been leading against every single Democrat candidate that they put against him, hypothetically in all the polling data, and really over the last 3.5 years of polling, the one Democrat that performed the best against Donald Trump consistently, well, it's always been Joe Biden. You know what this really feels like? It feels like the jig is finally up. Years and years of telling us that Joe Biden's the best person for the job, he's our president, he's in perfect health, totally fit for office, an entire Democrat primary process where other Democrats that were challenging Joe were pushed out of the process. There was no real primary. They basically just handpicked Joe. They said he's the guy, nobody can challenge him, only to lead to this. I think most people are scratching their heads in confusion, and most people are probably sharing the same reaction, thinking to themselves, you lied to us. You lied to us for a year, telling us Joe Biden was the guy, telling us Joe Biden's the only person who could beat Donald Trump. Look at the polls, Jack. Only to do this at the last second. You mean to tell me that in this environment, Democrats are going to be highly motivated to go vote for Kamala Harris? She can unburden the burdens that have been thanks to Joe Biden?
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You know? What can be unburdened by what has been.
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 What we can see, what we believe can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
It's officially Jover, folks. It is Jover. Honestly, I'm going right back to the same point, and my apologies if I sound like a broken record. There's no way that this was planned or orchestrated. It feels totally random. It feels like they have no plan. It feels like, frankly, they're flailing. And frankly, it feels like they might just be throwing Kamala Harris under a bus here. They know she's not the future of the party, even though they say it. They say it because they have to say it. She's obviously unpopular, and I'd even go as far to say she's deeply unpopular. Supposedly the least popular vice president in American history. I think the thought process is throw her in there, watch her lose, and then let's enter a rebuilding process for the Democrat Party. It's obvious the Democrats have better options, but they probably want to save those options from a possible humiliating defeat here, and so Kamala is the pick. Kamala frickin' Harris. Look, again, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe this is going to be a genius play, and Kamala Harris is going to start skyrocketing in the polls. Look, maybe, it's possible, but from what I'm seeing right now, I mean, a poll released just the other day showing her down 10 in the state of Georgia. She's losing to Trump in Pennsylvania, basically everywhere you look. Kamala performs worse than Joe Biden. We'll see if that changes, but as for now, my view stays completely unchanged. I don't see this as a good thing for the Democrat Party. This is total dysfunction, total, complete disarray. They're going to switch up their presidential candidate 4 months ahead of the election, in that short period of time expecting to undo 4 years of total and utter failure. I don't see it working. I don't see it happening. I think this is possibly the dumbest decision they could have made, and frankly, it might even have more negative impacts down ballot. The idea here is that Joe Biden is stepping aside for the good of the party, but he essentially just confirmed to the world that the party was pulling a fast one on you, that they've been lying to you. They essentially admit that they're all a bunch of frickin' frauds, and now they want you to vote for cackling Kamala to save democracy from a non-existent threat. Okay, sure, good luck with that one. Like usual, I guess we'll just have to see exactly where this goes. The idea is that the Biden-Harris administration is actually very popular. It's just that people don't want to vote for Joe Biden due to his age. But honestly, I think the issues with this administration go a whole lot further than just Joe Biden's age. We've seen 4 years of failure, people want change, and clearly Kamala Harris isn't that change. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys, just my initial raw reaction. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and this is one of those videos where I'm going to ask you guys to comment, because of course, I want to see what you guys are thinking. Let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.